Hello gang, it's that time again. It's time for Ruthday Tuesday. What's up everyone? I'm RuthAnn Thompson with GeekChic Promotions, and as you saw, we now have a trailer for Bumblebee, and it's all very exciting, and let's talk about it. Let me share it everywhere first so that we can get more people here into discussion. Hey Brandon, always good of you to always be the first wave. All right, let me share this around. Hope everybody is also having an amazing Tuesday today. It's been a pretty crazy week. It was my birthday this past weekend, so lots of fun stuff and catching up with everything. And I only just saw the trailer for what do you call it, Wreck-It Ralph 2 today as well. I've been so behind. Goodness. There. What? Hold on. My computer's going crazy. All I'm trying to do is share this other places. Okay, whoa, computer. Settle down. All right, cool. We're back. All right, so I knew nothing about the Bumblebee trailer walking into it. Not a clue. Didn't know what it was like, timeline where it was supposed to fit in with the movies, nothing. So if you go to YouTube, I actually did do a reaction video of it because I was like, let's just do a reaction video because people seem to like those, and I didn't know anything. I have so many people commenting because I was like, what year is this? What's happening? And they're like, it's in the 80s. I'm like, I know now, after watching it and researching it and whatnot. I'll take these off. No, I can't see the screen if I don't. Okay, so, oh, hey, Eric, how you doing? Good to see you. So, yes, let's talk about the Bumblebee trailer. Guys, if you haven't watched it, go watch it right now, and then you can also see my reaction to it as well. But I am wholly impressed. I am completely, I feel like I've been turned around on a lot of movies this year. I was very salty about Solo before going to see it, but I went to see it and I really, really liked it. And this trailer for Bumblebee, I'm on board. I'm fine, because I obviously loved the 80s cartoon, loved it. Loved the movie, loved the cartoons that came after, Beast Wars, all of them. I loved them. Yeah, no matter how cheesy they were, I loved me some Transformers. I liked the first movie of this whole Transformers craziness, because I'm trying to remember, I think there's 3 with Shia LaBeouf. No, two or three with Shia LaBeouf, and then 2 more after that. So this is number 6, I believe, for the Bumblebee trailer. Oh yeah, that's right, Eric. You gotta watch the Bumblebee trailer because that's where it's at right now. This Bumblebee trailer that I had no idea anything about. So watching it, I did. I got a little teary-eyed. I got a little excited because it's a great idea. I feel like they're doing a reboot almost the same way that X-Men did when they did First Class. Like, let's bring it back to the 80s. Let's just focus on Bumblebee. And it's cute because you can kind of see where he got his name and how he learned to use the radio as his voice, because in, Shia LaBeouf's, when we first see him, he just starts using the radio right away to speak because he can't speak or whatever. But Bumblebee Tuna. Sorry, Sal. That made me more happy. That comment made me more happy than it should have. Bumblebee Tuna. Is that an Ace Ventura? Why that reminds me. Anyways, I get so skipped around. But I am so on board with this trailer. It looks like it's very heartfelt. The cast is incredible. I really enjoy it. And what's funny is that I recognized Haley Steinfeld right away, and I was like, what do I recognize her from? And when I was looking at the list, I was like, oh, Pitch Perfect. But, she's also in some much better movies, even though Pitch Perfect movies are amazing. She's known for much more stuff. And we have Martin Stewart and John Cena. I'm pretty stoked on that, honestly. I'm not gonna lie. It's a great cast. It looks like everybody's really into it. I love setting it back in the 80s. We're all about the nostalgia right now. I mean, look at all these movies that are doing well from, if we go back to, say, even TV, like series-wise, Stranger Things, having that nostalgia, and then the latest movie with what's his butt. Aren't I so good with words, guys? I should totally write scripts down before joining you guys. Hello, Jean-Francois. I totally agree with you, Eric. He commented that I got a bit of Iron Giant vibes from the trailer. I totally agree. I'm super on board with this. Yes, thank you, Brandon. Bumblebee tuna, I know it's a real thing, but it is referenced in Ace Ventura 2, so I'm not crazy. Yes, Ace Ventura, yes. I'm glad I remember that. I mean, obviously not official reference or whatever. Yes, John, we are talking about Transformers. We're actually talking about the Bumblebee movie the trailer just dropped this morning. So it's a hyper-focused movie just about Bumblebee, but it's pre all the latest live-action Transformers movie. So in 1987, this little girl, she's playing 18. So let me look up a character name again. Charlie. She finds Bumblebee, and it's her first car. So it's kind of fixing. I feel like what happened with the rest of the Transformers movies. So yeah, it looks really great. The music was incredible in the trailer. Obviously, this is just our first trailer, so there's not much story. There's not, you don't really know what exactly is going on. But I'm so on board. Like I was talking about earlier, this nostalgia kick that we're on with. Ready Player One that came out. Was that just in this last year? So there's so many movies that come out, guys. I mean, it's going to be perfect, and I'm really on board with them bringing it back to the 80s, since obviously that's when the show and the cartoon are first from. So I feel like we're going to get a lot more nostalgia with this movie than we did even with the rest of the Transformers series, because I don't even remember how many of the last Transformers movies I watched. I definitely watched the first one, I actually enjoyed the first one with Shia LaBeouf. Not gonna lie, it was fun and cheesy, and when they first landed, all of them on his doorstep, basically, I got all excited, I was a little kid again, thinking about, oh, if only I had, I was friends with Transformers, woot woot. The second movie on were kind of downhill for me. I don't even remember. I know I saw 2 and 3. Maybe I saw 4? I don't think I saw 5, though. That or 4 and 5 kind of blended together with Mark Wahlberg. I don't know. Eric says, I would make a John Cena joke, but I didn't see him in the trailer. I know, I didn't see mine either. I'll be there all week, people. That was terrible. Joshua also said, I watched it and it pulled on the heartstrings pretty hard. It did. I got a little teary watching it. And just when she put in... when she put in the tape and she accidentally rickrolled him and he just spit it back out, I thought that was pretty cute. Which is funny because I feel like back in the 80s, everybody was pretty on board with that song. It's just now, it's people getting rickrolled. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what John Cena is doing in this, what his role is. I mean, I'm looking at he's Agent Burns, so I guess we'll see what kind of role he's playing in this. But yeah, I'm glad to have it being brought back to the simple, even though obviously Transformers is a huge thing to try to encompass. It's good to bring it back down to Bumblebee. And in the scene in the trailer when he looks so scared of her, I got all oh no! And then when he puts, it actually reminded me of Toothless in How to Train Your Dragon, when he put his head in her hands. I was like, I want a Bumblebee! Come on! I want one! John Cena in camouflage. I'm listening. I agree, Brandon. Yeah, I feel, Brandon, I totally agree. I feel like this movie is going to be very iconic and very bringing it back to what it's all about. Oh, that's actually a very good point. I'm going to try to pronounce your name. I don't know if I'm going to do it right. Lukrick. He brought up. I was wondering if that was Air Commander's Starscream or Thundercracker. I'm excited, and it's not Michael Bay. I'm also excited that it's not Michael Bay. He did his thing. I'm very much looking forward to this new director of this series to take this over, because yeah, it needs a new director. And I also thought the same thing of if it's Starscream or Thundercracker, so that's going to be a really fun thing, too, of, like, figuring out who's going to be in this movie. And now I honestly do want to rewatch the first of the Shia LaBeouf ones, because A, I did like that movie, and B, I'm wondering how well it's going to make sense that Bumblebee had been around for a little bit and has his own story before everybody kind of wakes up. We'll see. Eric says, seriously, this feels like it may be a different type of Transformers movies compared to the other. Oh, yeah. I feel like it has to be a completely different... I feel like it's almost more like the beginning, like, half of the first Transformers movie, where it's a much more, like, personal story, which I was just discussing this with somebody else, is what we kind of forgot about when it comes to movie making of these big blockbuster stuff, and now we're kind of coming back to it, which I feel like Solo actually did a good job of, is things are getting so big that you're forgetting the most important thing about telling a story, no matter how many great effects you have or how much money you have, is it has to be character driven and it has to be story driven. So you have to have, like, very thought out characters, very meaningful characters, and, you know, character development, all that kind of stuff. I think that's something that happened specifically going back to the Star Wars universe, because I feel like that's almost as big. I mean, that's just as big as Transformers to me. Is that you had, like, the Force Awakens, of the newer movies of Star Wars, you had the Force Awakens that was very character driven, and there was amazing story arcs and character arcs within that movie, that obviously there was still all the awesome, like, force and special effects and all that kind of stuff. And then with The Last Jedi, we lost all of that character stuff, and they just I feel like it just kind of got everything got lost in the mix after that, because you have to specify like that. And that's, I feel like Solo went back to that thing of being very simple, one or two characters storyline, which I'm really looking forward to in this Bumblebee. Like, if we go back to the basics, make it much more, not simple, it's not the right word, but get to the heart of it. And like, there's a lot of heart when it comes to Bumblebee. He's so cute, and he looked so adorable and scared and excited, and oh, I want a Bumblebee now, I want one. Joshua says John Cena will fit right into the Transformers. I agree. I think John Cena, you know, and he can be fun and charming. I get he's not an actor. That's fine. A lot of the people that are in these movies aren't, so it's just fine. It's, oh, sorry, Brandon. This is why I need to have my glasses on. He said ironic. Gotcha. Lurik. Thank you, Lurik. Thank you for helping me pronounce your name correctly. Thank you, Lurik, and that was a very good point that you made earlier. Brandon also said, I hope this storm doesn't melt my Wi-Fi. Yeah, where are you, Brandon, that you have a storm coming in? I'm worried for you now. Okay, Lurik says, the guy who directed Paranorman and Kurban and the Strings. Sorry, I ruined that last movie title. I know which movie. Yeah, I can't look it up now because all my computers are focused on this. But yeah, that's an amazing movie. We'll be directing this new Bumblebee movie. He's great at visual directing, so this film will be good. Yeah, I mean, if you're talking about, it is Kuro and the Kurbo. I know what movie you're talking about, and the Strings. I've seen it once and it made me cry because it's a very powerful movie, and so. I'm really looking forward to this director taking this over, because he is very good at the very heartfelt, pull on your heartstrings, telling the story, but also making very visually pretty, which Michael Bay is very good at making things very visually pretty. I don't think he's very good at the whole character, like, arc and all that. Just me personally, just saying. Daria says, Bay still needs to get his ass kicked for Revenge of the Fallen. It was really bad. It's the only movie to truly offend me to the point of anger. I'm somewhat happy about this new movie. My only regret is the word you're looking for, is that Chris Latta is no longer around to voice Starscream. Agreed. Also, maybe Starscream can actually betray somebody for once. Ooh, that would be interesting, Darius. That's a very good point. I totally agree with you, Darius, on all of that. Those last movies, like I said, I don't even remember which ones I watched of the last ones from Bay. I couldn't. They were pretty bad. So I just I couldn't do it. Eric says, this actually makes me want to go back and watch the G1 Transformers series. Yes. the same. I was thinking about that very same thing as soon as like the music started of this trailer, first time we see Bumblebee, and yeah, I definitely want to as well. Eric also says, we may be having storms here too, some rain. Kubo, thank you, Brandon. Kubo. For everybody who's Kubo in the string, you know what I mean. Man, I cannot speak today. I don't know what's going on, guys. Nathaniel says, I have to disagree with Michael Bay's character design. I can't tell where one Transformer ends and the other starts. A bunch of rolled up junkyard parts. I totally agree with you, Nathaniel, because I just don't think he's good in general. I just don't think Michael Bay is good at character design. Like, I don't mean the way somebody looks, like their actual like plot line, and like you said, there weren't very much like differences in the actual personalities at all, or their character arcs, or anything like that. And visually, like, I agree, sometimes it just felt like a whole lot of parts, because I would go see those movies, you know, in 3D in the big IMAX screen, and it was overwhelming, these fight scenes, because you just saw parts, and you couldn't even really see what was fighting who or what. So I'm really hoping that they really focus in on the story and the character of, because I feel like even in the Michael Bay movies, Bumblebee was the only one that really had a very separate character, and that's really just because he had to, because of his, like, he couldn't talk. So we'll see. And Eric also agrees with everything we've said about Michael Bay. And Brandon, yes, the anime movie is awesome. The anime movie is legitimately like my favorite thing ever. Lurik, thank you. Kubo and the Two Strings. Travis Knight is the director. And he referred to me as Bulma. Thanks, friend. I'll still love her, even though I don't have the blue hair or anything anymore. I still love people referring me to me as Bulma. I'm totally on point with that. I'm totally fine with it. Joshua says, yeah, during the fight scenes in Bay's movies, I had no idea what the heck was happening. Yeah. It was a little too much, and I'm really looking forward to this being much more plot-driven than, let's see how big we can make these fight scenes. Brandon says, Bay isn't good at character development or plot. Agreed. He's very good at making things look very pretty, and I mean, like, incredible stuff. You know, I feel like he is an incredible DP, and for those that don't know, that's director of photography. I feel like with him, if only we could pair him with an incredible storyline director, and like that his ego would allow him that, I feel like probably the best movies could have come out of that. But, you know, I think Bay is doing okay. I don't think he really cares about what I have to say, but that's how I feel. And I mean, the nostalgia for 80s is all over the place. I mean, even look at, like, in the last day, the trailer for Wreck-It Ralph that just came out. And if you guys haven't seen the trailer for that, it's going to wreck, I love that they call it, you know, wreck the internet or whatever, because it's having all the Disney princesses together is going to be mind-blowing, because that doesn't usually happen in a blockbuster movie like this. And I love, the nostalgia, and now we're hitting, like, with them, now they're hitting the internet. It's going to be a whole crazy thing. But, man, going back to the 80s for Bumblebee, I am so on board. So on board. Lurik also says, sad thing about Michael Bay, he's made great movies. He's worked super good with our armed forces and whatnot, which is also a very good point. Thank you for bringing that up. But he kind of does what he does these days to his movies because he makes his movies for him. But you just forget the Bay Formers flicks, we should be okay. Yeah, I agree. And it is really sad. I feel like he's kind of become a caricature of himself when it comes to his own work. He's just kind of pumping them out, and it's too bad, because I mean, if you can go back to some of his more, I mean, The Rock, anybody? It's one of my favorite Michael Bay movies, not gonna lie. Yeah, he just can't seem to do it anymore. Sal says, are you going to do a review on Bumblebee Tuna? Maybe I will. I'm a big fan. Joshua said, I also saw yesterday that Hasbro brought Power Rangers and stated they're moving to open a cinematic universe with G.I. Joe, Transformers, Power Rangers, and a few others. Yes, I read that as well, Joshua. That's going to be a very... I was actually discussing that with somebody yesterday. That's a lot that Hasbro is trying to do. I mean, they're trying to make their own, basically, Marvel Universe, but I don't know if... Okay, here's my thought, and this totally is a tangent from Transformers, but on that Hasbro debacle that just went down of them they're going to be creating their own universe, and that G.I. Joe, Transformers, Power Rangers, and a few others are going to be in the same universe. I feel like the only way you can do that is to do a Lego style movie. Like, you know how Legos have been doing all those really great things, and they've kind of made it fun for the whole family, where it's still very much kids movies, but like obviously Lego movies are amazing. But I feel like doing that with the actual toys might be the only way you can kind of do it, because if you're trying to make it like a whole MCU of like really dark and gritty and like all G.I. Joe is fighting over here and the Transformers arrive and like Power Rangers are there too, I don't know. I don't think it'll work. That's just my take on it. We can discuss that further or not, or just go back to talking about Bumblebee. We'll talk about that. Jean says, I watched the trailer for Bumblebee. I hope Optimus Prime will show up. I don't think he will, because this is still in the same timeline of the Michael Bay movies. So I don't think we're getting Optimus Prime. I have to rewatch the Michael Bay movie to remember if like Optimus Prime was waking up for the very first time like ever in that movie. But we can talk about that later. Whoa, you guys are commenting so much. Thank you. Brandon says, I feel similar about Zack Snyder. He's great at visuals, but yeah, Zack Snyder. You know what's funny is a lot of people don't like what he did with Watchmen, but that's actually, I feel like he did the best he could with that. But after that, man, he just, things went wrong for Zack Snyder. I don't know what happened. He just got on some kind of tangent and never came back. The role of the girl reminds me of Shia. Yeah, I completely agree with you, Jean, that I feel like that's what they had to do, and I feel like she's going to do a little bit of a better job than Shia LaBeouf of, like, I'm 18 years old, and this is my first car, and, like, I'm just starting my life. So I feel like that's, it's the best way they could kind of reboot it while not insulting the last series too much. But yeah, I'm pretty stoked. Oh, Lurik, oh, you saw my Mach 5 here in the corner. First time you've noticed it? Yeah, it's pretty legit. Got it for Christmas this last year. So yeah, this is only maybe a quarter of my nerd shelf, but I should probably start switching stuff out so you guys see more of my nerdery next time. Eric says, Hasbro trying to do something big with Power Rangers. The CEO said so himself. Yeah, I mean, they're going to be doing Hasbro's going to be doing the whole universe, so I'm assuming this Bumblebee movie is kind of the last time of, I believe it's Paramount this is coming out through, versus Hasbro owning everything to do all their stuff. I do want a Bumblebee toy as well, Eric. I just want a Bumblebee now. Like, I legit, from this trailer, had the same feels from Bumblebee as I did from Toothless in How to Train Your Dragon, and I want one. I want him. He looks so cute. I want it. Yeah, it feels weird, but we'll see. Yeah, Joshua says I wouldn't do any other Transformers, just one-on-one with Bumblebee. Yeah, I feel like where they're going with all this. Brendan, I don't agree with you with 300 being good. I feel like the aesthetic looked good. That's a whole nother, I feel like that should be saved for a Nerd Rage. I think I even did Nerd Rage about it once when we were talking about comic books to movies. But that is not what Snyder captured the look of it, but not the story. I agree with you, Darius. Snyder was perfect for Watchmen, but completely wrong for everything DC. Completely agree, even though now, I guess, they're trying to tie Watchmen into DC stuff. It's too much crossover, guys. Yeah, but Brandon, as you said, Watchmen is DC, but it's back when they weren't in the same universe. Now they are. It's all confusing. Finally bringing it into back to Darius. Back to Transformers. By the way, have you watched the series The Toys That Made Us? Yes, if any of you haven't watched The Toys That Made Us, it's a documentary series on Netflix. And I think they just did a Transformers one. I haven't watched the newest episode that's based on the Transformers one, and I cannot wait. It is in my queue, ready to go. Darius goes on to say the Transformers one that was so much fun and in nostalgia and education. Yeah, because so many of these stories that we love so much, of these cartoons and all that kind of stuff, were literally the toy companies are like, we have these toys, make story, go. Jean says, I don't get G.I. Joe, Transformers, Power Rangers the same movie. There's no sense at all. What would be the storyline? Yeah, exactly. So it's. I think they would do it more like the MCU universe, where like there'd be a Transformers movie, G.I. Joe movie, Power Rangers movie, and then like their Infinity War is, I guess, their plan. Who knows? We're totally speculating on what they could possibly be thinking, Hasbro, of doing like this huge thing, but it's not. It's obviously not going to be a part of whatever this new Bumblebee movie is. And I'm not really looking forward to what Hasbro is going to be doing with all of their IPs, but I'm very much looking forward to this Bumblebee movie, which I don't even remember when it said it was going to be coming out. I got so excited right afterwards. I watched the trailer for Wreck-It Ralph, and I was like, Thanksgiving, woo! So I feel like it'll come out about the same time. Oh, December. It'll be coming out in December. So Bumblebee will be a nice little Christmas movie. That's good. Good to know. But yeah, so I don't know how else you guys feel about this trailer. If you guys, again, if you haven't watched the trailer for Bumblebee that just dropped this morning, go see it. I also did a reaction video. Yes, Lurik, December. Will says, didn't Transformer and G.I. Joe have a crossover comic book in the 80s? Yes, they did. Good call, Will. I don't remember it. I did not own it or read it, but I do know that they did have a crossover, which makes sense. You know, I feel like that makes a lot more sense than doing like a Power Rangers, because now we have like two different flavors of mechs, and I don't know, it's gonna get a little weird. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know about it. But totally agree. Yes, back to the basics. That's the best thing about this trailer. And it has all the stuff that we love and all the nostalgia we love from the 80s, and simplifying the story again, and it is funny that it's basically the same exact thing that Shia LaBeouf's character did, of like, it's my first car, and it ends up being this pile of junk Bumblebee, and fixing him up and then earning his trust and all that kind of stuff. So it'll be interesting to see how they differentiate themselves from that. I mean, obviously this is just the first trailer. We're not seeing much of what's going to go on in it. Oh, they did have it in the toys as well. So Eric was also mentioning that they did have a crossover in the comics and in toys as well. So it's a huge universe. Like, man, companies they're taking on a lot. I mean, I remember the first time that they ever did start talking about doing an X-Men live action movie, and I was like, that is too big a universe, guys. That's too much. I mean, they did okay the first two movies, but oh goodness, so much going on. Darius also confirms that there have been several crossovers between them from different writers. The current Transformers license holder explains the timeline in a comic about Unicron that was released for Free Comic Book Day. So they're very smart, trying to hook all that kind of stuff, and Free Comic Book Day is the way to get new comic book readers. So it'll be really interesting. And Lurik also mentions that all the movies that are coming out in December, which are Aquaman, Bumblebee, Holmes and Watson, and Battle Angel. That'll be interesting. It's going to be an interesting Christmas time, you guys. But it's about that time to wrap up. Thank you guys so much for joining and talking about the Bumblebee trailer. If you guys haven't seen it, go see it. Keep commenting, and we can still keep chatting about this. And we'll see you guys again on Saturday, 3 p.m. PT, for our weekend Rager Nerd Rage. And we're gonna, can't remember if we've locked down exactly what we're gonna talk about, but we have some special guests that we'll be announcing this week that are joining us. It's the guys from Boss Level 8, whoop whoop! So thanks again for joining, and we'll see you for Nerd Rage on Saturday. Bye guys.